I'm super excited to have you here on this vlog today because of where you work with Alivo and so much of the technology changes that are happening in the agent space. So before we get started, let me just intro and say, here's where my head's at. The customer is looking for immediate response. It's the trust that isn't built over months. It's won in seconds through speed and, most importantly, personalization. And that's why I'm so excited to have you on today's vlog, because of where you sit and the innovation that's coming to the table with Alivo. So that being said, Michael, welcome.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. And I love this topic of kind of that, we're 2025 heading into 2026, and that buyer that we're all selling to is changing by the day almost. And you hit the nail on the head in terms of the speed at which we're conversing with them, and the personalization, and even like the lack of frustration with some of this stuff. And we'll get into that, I'm sure, on is this automation, is this AI, is it actually frustrating my end user, or is it making their lives easier? And we'll dig into all that today.
Awesome. Well, let's talk a little bit before we get started. What is Alivo? What do you bring to the table? And I think that'll give our watchers and listeners a little context as far as the lens that you're speaking through.
Yeah, absolutely. So Alivo, we are an AI agent solution software built for the trades, but we've niched into roofing. So like we're built for roofing contractors. We've created 4 agents, and we're continually evolving and creating new agents. But we have an agent named Lily that handles all incoming phone calls, after hours, spillover during business hours, handles all of those. We have an agent named Evan that handles all web inquiries, form fills on your website, your lead aggregators, Angie, Google LSA, Thumbtack, handles all that. We have Alex, who is an agent that follows up on proposals that are sent. So he's out there following up, making sure that those proposals are being driven to signature. And then we have a post completion of job agent. Her name is Jenna, and she is kind of your triage to make sure the job was done well. And then she is going to go and push for, your reputation management. So kind of that 5-star review. So we've got those 4 agents trained very heavily in roofing. Obviously, like I said, we can help all home service contractors, but we love our roofers. And yeah, that's what we do in a nutshell.
That's awesome. Well, huge thanks again for being here, and we're excited about what Alivo is bringing to the table in a very fast-paced, changing landscape, not just for AI and agents, but like you alluded to and I spoke to, the customers' expectations are quickly changing. So let's dive in and talk about evolving trust. And before, when I looked at marketing, I've been in marketing for 40 years, growing up in it. It was always the loyalty and making sure, hey, what's that partner that we've worked with, we've gone through highs and lows with. And there's this new currency that's coming. Not that that isn't still very important, but the new currency of today is speed. And that speed builds trust. And so we see not only customers demanding, but they're expecting it. And research is also reflecting that. Michael, you have some stats that I thought were super powerful that speak to the importance of speed in the midst of your communication process.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to even just throw the background here of it's sometimes it's almost frustrating, I'm sure, to be a contractor and say, these homeowners are expecting so much, but we have to take a step back, and we have to even look at our own lives. I've got a presentation I do, and I threw 4 logos in it. I threw Netflix, Uber, DoorDash, Amazon Prime. What do all 4 of those things have in common? They're instant. Or nearly instant. Like I can get my Amazon stuff delivered same day. I don't need to wait until Wednesday at 8 o'clock to watch a show anymore. I watch the entire season at once on Netflix. And so the society that we live in is this instant society. And so we have to meet our consumers there. And so that's where the speed to lead is so valuable. The stat that, there's a bunch of them out there, but the one that just jumps at me is you're 8 times more likely to convert a lead if you connect with it in the first 5 minutes. And we're no longer in the 9 to 5 days where it's like, oh, I called at 5:30. I don't expect to get that solution now. I expect, to get a call back tomorrow. No, we as consumers are still expecting to be able to book and to schedule things. A line that I've been using lately is consumers no longer want conversations later. They want confirmation now. And I think, when I think back even 10 years ago, or my parents, they were okay leaving a voicemail. They were okay leaving a message on the answering machine and waiting until the next day or the next day to get a call back. Nobody cares about conversations later. They want their problem solved now. They want confirmation that Anna is going to come out tomorrow at 3 and she's going to take care of this problem for me. And so, that number is just going to keep getting smaller and smaller with how fast people want response. And the conversion is just going to keep multiplying exponentially when you are the ones that are able to meet them where they want to be met.
I love that you spoke to the contractor and how they need to have almost instant response. 5 minutes, that window is quickly diminishing to almost an instantaneous response where agents can thrive. But we see it from the agency perspective of the platforms themselves. So let's single out Google, right? Google understands the speed in which you respond, the tone, the ability to support that customer's expectations, as well as fulfill the service. And when you have negative customer feedback, sentiment, tone on those calls that they're tracking, again, let's segment it even further. Google local service ads, which is a huge lead generator for contractors. If you have negative sentiment or experiences where a customer hangs up or doesn't have a response from someone picking up that phone call, that's going to negatively reflect on your account performance as a whole. So I think the ability for contractors to say, we don't offer, after hours or almost immediate response. Our customer service team, human, can't get to it. That window is quickly closing, and I think it's a transformational shift for 2026. You have to have a solution. It's not a want to have, it's a must have. So I love both of those windows. I think are decision-making components as we look towards the future.
Absolutely. And like you brought Google up. I mean, where are all these searches happening? They're happening right here on the cell phone. And I dial right from my search engine. And guess what? If it doesn't answer, with one swipe, I'm right back into the search results and I'm calling the next person on the list. It's no longer, I don't have to go to the yellow pages and be like, well, what would be another roofing company name that I could go and look for? It's right there at my fingertips, and I can make 5 dials, 10 dials. That's why when you said that number is shrinking, it's like, yeah, you pretty much have to be instant on phone and probably pretty close on form fills to, keep a leg up.
Yeah, no, it's a powerful component. So in the midst of that, let's say hypothetically, we have either an agent or a human team that is responsive within seconds and able to pick up in 1, 2, or 3 rings. Definitely don't want to let it go to 4, much less round robin. And when we look at that experience, once the phone is picked up or the chat has activated on any type of platform and or a form has been filled out, that lead experiences has begun. Personalization, we feel, is the key differentiator between you and one of those 3 other companies or 10 other companies, like you said, that you might have to reach out to just get a response. how are the agents able to bring personalization from a lens of, I'm a contractor and this is how we work, but then how do they also relate to the human who's requesting work to occur?
Yeah, that personalization piece is extremely powerful. I'll speak a little bit to our more
Yeah.
We will go in and we will train our agents on your website. That's why we love our partnership with Art Unlimited, because the more substance that you can have on your website, the easier it is for us to train your agents on who you are as a company, what your company values are. We are able to fully customize all of our agents individually as well. So we can go in and we can tailor specific questions that they would always ask, specific tones, all of those kind of things. And we can get very, very intricate in what we're doing. And we also have a ton of industry best practice knowledge that we can help them say, hey, have you considered this question? So for our agents, that personalization piece is extremely important. It's one of the questions when I get testimonials, I always ask is, how did you feel before you got agents? How did you feel when you're starting to, and what did you feel after? And Roofing and More is one that just jumps into my brain, that they were very hesitant to have agents in their business. They very much were on that personal touch, and that, hey, that's what we've built our brand on. And he said, the gentleman that I was getting the testimonial from said, by the end of my demo call with Lily, my wife and I was on speakerphone, were thanking Lily and talking to her as if she was an employee for our business. And that's the level of personalization that we want. If you're listening to this, like, I'm not saying like I think the right flavor is Alivo, but the must is that you have that personal touch. One area where, if you're just testing these, you can really see, and this isn't the only way, but it's early in the call, is if you say, hey, I have a roof leak, or I have shingles missing, or something along those lines. If the agent responds back with great, or some sort of response there, we can take care of that, or we can help you with that. And you'd be amazed. A lot of them do. That's not the personalization that you want in your agent. Like, if I'm calling in as a homeowner and I say, Anna, my roof is leaking, I want some level of empathy to where it's like, I'm really sorry to hear that, but you're in the right spot. You're in good hands. We will be able to take care of you. That's the level of personalization that you want. You don't want the agent saying, oh, that's great to hear. Let me get you on our calendar. Let's get you scheduled, those kind of things. And just like, I think if you listen for that early on, you're going to hear the other places where you're like, that is totally not how we would want to respond. And that's what's cool about our agents, is you can give us a script for how your office manager answers the phone, how a CSR is supposed to answer the phone. And the beauty with agents is they never have a bad day. They never were running late for work and were a little stressed and this or that, and maybe botch a few calls. Nope. They're ready to go every single time.
I think there's power in that, and there's power in the ability to also have that human component. But what I love about what agents are bringing to the table is, in the midst of this, we have the opportunity for our humans to bring even further enhanced experiences. So agents are embracing what most customer service representatives were able to do. Those human components are now able to diversify and bring even more personalization to the table. Because I think when I look at this from the contractor's lens, they go, awesome. Now I can have an agent that has personalization. I feed it tone. I feed it. Sometimes I look at agents, I say, do they understand our core values? To your point, just great doesn't cut it anymore. So feeding all of that, and then also talking to our human teams and saying, okay, there's a shift that's happening. How do we continue to bring enhanced personalization into the picture to be that differentiator that has immediate response, because speed is the new currency. And then when we bring personalization through agents and our human counterparts. Like, that is a dynamic duo that I think a lot of businesses need to start expanding their perspective to say, okay, do we keep this human component, or do we build it out in a different fashion? That's the new space that we have the opportunity to and lens to look through as well.
Absolutely. I mean, the ability to leverage your humans, like, because we're a long ways from AI to like just replacing human capital. We're a long ways from that. But man, you can leverage your human capital in far better ways than coming in and replying to voicemails and form fills to start their day. Like, if there's not if you have a tool, Alivo or whatever tool, that can book 24/7, 365, Jan or whoever's in the office doesn't, like, they don't need to start their day going through voicemails and calling back emails and those kind of things. Like, you can be way more efficient with your human capital, when you leverage AI in a smart way.
Yeah. No, awesome. Okay, so let's shift a little bit. I'm super passionate about technology. Obviously, that's how we've stayed connected over the years. But another key piece with technology and marketing and agents now is integrations and ensuring that whatever agent you go with has the ability to either bring an integration to the table or has existing integrations. So I know that you have a lot of integrations that connect with marketing platforms to ensure that lead gen experience is seamless. But could you talk a little bit about, those integrations? Yelp is a key one. They're super challenging, but then we've got others such as Angie, and the list keeps going on and on. What do integrations mean to you and the ecosystem that you bring to the table?
Great question. And yes, integrations are, in my opinion, they're everything. I've been, like, I don't do it anymore, but I had a presentation where I was using the Legos as the analogy, and like, man, there's nothing worse as a parent than stepping on Legos that aren't put together. Just that one loose Lego just ruins your day. And when I think about just technology as a whole, you need those Lego bricks, and they're all different types and sizes and shapes. But as long as they're all the same brand, they can all go together nicely, and they can all turn, what just looks like a single Lego brick into a masterpiece. And so for us, we are very big on integrations, and there's really three types of integrations. There is, like you said, the marketing ones, the lead aggregators, Google LSA, Yelp, Angie, Thumbtack, Roofle. We have great integrations with all of those, to where the responses are essentially seamless. They're happening in real time. Obviously, extremely valuable, extremely important. The others are the calendar or the booking systems, and there's a few different types. We have our own calendar built out for contractors that come to us, and they say, well, we're not married to a calendar. We don't really have a booking calendar or anything like that. Ours is very like Calendly type feel, where we schedule, but we plug in with Google and Outlook, and that is an extremely important piece, because while it's not the end of the world, if I know I've got 10 people from last night that want an appointment, and I know kind of when they want those appointments, we just need to get them on the calendar. That's not the end of the world. That's
Right.
doable. But it's way better if I come in the morning and it's like, holy cow, I've got 10 appointments that are sitting on our calendar. And so our goal is to be able to integrate with any and all calendar systems. We are very integration forward in terms of our thoughts. And this is just an aside. It takes both parties to integrate. I can't tell you how long I chased certain integrations at Company Cam, because we wanted them, our clients wanted them, but it takes both parties to come to the table. But we're a very integration forward company in terms of, we want to integrate with whatever software and tools you're using, from whether it's from the lead generation side, whether it's from the booking side. And we've also got great integrations with CRMs. We've got some native integrations. We can do a lot through Zapier. I don't want to get into the weeds on integrations, but to answer your question, from basically lead, very top of funnel, we want to tie in with any and all of your lead sources. Even form fills on your website, we can go in and we tie right to those. So those are going to get responses instantly. And what I've found is a lot of times people don't believe in those sources because they haven't had great success with them. But then when you ask them, well, when do you get back to those? And a lot of times it's 12, 24, 36, 48 hours later. And it's like, well, that's probably why you're not having a great result with those. Let's try, getting back to them instantly. Let's try getting them into a text conversation and qualifying them, figuring out what their actual issue is, those kind of things.
No, I think that's key, is just the qualification. And I also like that you highlighted both parties have to be willing to come to the table, because that's a key component. And the power of having agents communicate in real time with that integration is a game changer. We've done agents on a variety of different platforms, and when we have those agents empowered, they have the customer experience is a little better. But what I've found is, and one of the reasons why I like Alivo, is they don't have all the integrations for a variety of different platforms. So the agent experience is isolated to that platform. And then if they go and talk to or connect through yet another platform, because that's very common, right? You don't always convert off of the one platform you started with. Then all of a sudden they get different experiences, and it's fragmented. It's not unified. That customer tone, the personalization is kind of all over the board. And that trust, because speed is the new currency, right, is all of a sudden diluted. And you got speed down, but your competitors are quickly catching up. And so you want to have the integrations there so that wherever your customer connects with you, they're going to gain a similar experience. So, Michael, I think what I want to do is just wrap up. We recognize there's a shift happening. You and I have been here for a long time. We're like, it's already here. But so many people listening to our conversation are like, how do I start? What do I need to know about getting agents for my business? And again, if you can put that consultation hat on, not just for Alivo, what are some things that contractor needs to look for to be able to say, okay, I'm ready to make the jump? What's their next steps?
Yeah, so I'm gonna throw the airlines under the bus to start here, and then we'll work backwards from that. If you've flown recently, or you had to have call into support, not even necessarily the airlines, any of these major brands that are out there, when you call into their support lines or you call in for something and it's the press one for this, some of them have tell me what your issue is, and then it gives you that little like thinking, and then it sends you in a completely wrong path, and you're so frustrated. I think the biggest thing is don't correlate those experiences with what's possible today, because I think that's the biggest thing. Like, to take that step, I think you truly, it's not like, hey, I need to go and research this, I need to go and learn this, I need to go and do that. I think you truly have to be in the mindset of, my business is ready for AI, and I'm personally okay with AI doing tasks for me. It's the same kind of feel as when you were a solopreneur and you went and made your first hire. Now, you hired a human, and it was still hard to take tasks that you were doing and to give them off your plate. So it was that trust thing. That's the same kind of thing that I would say. So and I'll get into some more granular things, but I think the biggest thing is you have to come to the conclusion that I'm okay with AI in my business. My business needs AI, and I'm personally okay with it. And I'm going to trust that, it's going to do a good job. I'll be the first to tell you, there's not an AI solution out there right now that's perfect.
Yeah.
There's not. I don't know that there ever will be. But when you find the perfect CSR or office manager that never messes up on a call, then I would say at that point, then AI is not for you. Like keep that 24/7, 365 that never messes up. We're humans. We always are going to mess up. So I think that's, number one, I'm ready for it. My business is ready for it. Number two, I understand it's not going to be perfect. And then I think kind of just digging in, listening to vlogs like this, just digging in, being inquisitive, asking what's possible. I think that's a big thing is like a lot of times people come in on one of two extremes. They come in and they're blown away at what's possible, or they come in and they're kind of new to AI, but they just kind of expect AI to just be able to do everything right now. And it's like, okay, so I think just being inquisitive, doing product demos, like jumping on a demo with one of our roofing specialists and just asking questions, talking about your business. We don't spend a lot of time showing our product. We spend maybe a third of the demo doing that. We spend 2/3 of the demo asking you about your process and your business and kind of understanding where are their gaps, those kind of things. So I would say that's the biggest piece is just get yourself in a mindset where you're ready for it. No, it won't be perfect. And then just jump in, start being inquisitive, start, asking questions, seeing what's possible. I think it's a great time to be like, I don't want to say overly critical of your business or your process, but there's a Harvard Business Review stat out there that says 65% of calls or 66% of calls during business hours get answered. Most business owners won't believe that stat and they say that's not us. And I'm going to bet you if you call your business at 12 noon, 4 p.m., some of those times, there's a good chance that no one's going to pick it up. And so it's like, kind of looking in the mirror and saying, where could we maybe improve our business? Because that's the other big thing is there's a lot of cool, shiny, flashy things out there. I spent 8 years at probably the most simple solution in the roofing space, and they are still alive and kicking it because they solved one problem, but they did it really, really well. And so I think that's, kind of summarized. That would be my last thing. Make sure that AI is going to solve a problem for you in your business. Don't just go and find that flashy, shiny, awesome thing. And then like, I don't know really where this fits into my business, but it is cool. Make sure it's practical for your business.
I love that you brought that up. As I was coming into work today, I was thinking about this conversation. And the thing that kept coming to my mind was, is it flashy or is it functional? And leaning into the function component is so important. So spot on, resonates with me. I think the other piece, I love that you brought up the grace, because when we hire that person, we are understanding that there's going to be an evolution of that person's journey. And the same thing goes with that agent. There's that evolution, and it truly is constantly evolving. AI is evolving at a light speed, right? The speed of light, but yet the inquisitive component that you brought up is so important as well. I've traveled all over, and this sounds crazy, but one of the things that I've found is being that person that asks the stupid question. I've been in sessions and people are like, huge room, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna raise my hand because they didn't ask the stupid question. No one. And then I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go for it. And I asked that question, and afterwards you go out of the conference and I have people come up to me and, I'm so glad you asked that question. Like, I was thinking that too. And I'm like, well, then why didn't you ask it? They're like, I thought like it was so basic. And I think those are some of the things, like we have to get past ourselves, and we need to ask those, to you might be stupid questions, novice questions. The only way you grow is by asking those questions and trusting the process, because there is no longer an option to say, I'm not going to use AI. It's rather, how do you use AI in tandem with your humans to really empower your business to go to the next level? That is where it's at, and it's only going to get more powerful.
Absolutely. Yes, the asking the questions, those kind of things, taking that leap of faith. We got a message yesterday from a client that Evan and Lily are really our all-stars. Like, everybody loves Evan and Lily. People have put Evan and Lily on their website as like employees. We got a call from somebody that does amazing proposals. I mean, these are detailed, they're thorough, they're great. And they started using Alex, our kind of follow-up agent. And they were very hesitant, very skeptical. And I'll just read the last 2 lines of it. Text message says, "Blows my mind. I trust Alex more than I do my salesman." Like, boom, right there.
Right.
But that all came from an inquisitive question, because we did not sell this individual Alex to begin with. This all came from an inquisitive question, either by them or our rep, one of the two, that said, "How are you following up with proposals?" Or, "Do you have something that can help me follow up with proposals?" And I think that inquisitive nature is so powerful for us as in the software space, because 2 things it allows us to do. It allows us to potentially shift your mindset into solving a problem, but in a different way, potentially. Because if you just say, "Hey, this is my problem, can your agent do this?" And we can say, "Well, no, it doesn't do this." But if you're just looking for a solution, it actually can do this. And a lot of times they're like, "Well, that's better anyway." Or we say, "Currently, no, but that's a really, really good idea. Let us put it on our product roadmap." And that's how software gets to be as good as it is that, like you said, the grace of like, "Oh, okay, put it on the product roadmap." I love that. And so, yeah, when you're on these demos and different things, be inquisitive, ask questions, just take as much in as you can. I would also say, like, it'll feel like you're drinking from a fire hose. I'm not an AI expert today. And people love that, like, fear tactics and stuff of like, "Oh, if you're not in with AI in the next 12 months, like, you're not going to be employable." And it's like, I don't believe that. Like, I'm not probably going to be an AI expert in the next 12 months or 24 months, but I'm going to continue to learn every day, and I'm going to continue. So I think, like, just take bits of AI, figure out where it fits in your business, and I think you'll be in a really good spot.
Yeah, awesome. All right, Michael, if someone's interested in tapping in and learning more about agents, where do they go to connect with you and your team?
Yep, absolutely. And hopefully we can put this into the comments or something, but it is alivo.ai/partner/art-unlimited. So kind of a mouthful. alivo.ai/partner/art-unlimited. And you can go there. If you're coming from Art Unlimited or you're using Art Unlimited, we're going to give you a $500 credit to spend with Art Unlimited, because we want you producing leads so that our agents can kind of shine. Because if you don't have leads, our agents don't look like they're very good employees. So yeah, come on over and we would love to get that set up for you.
Awesome. Hey, thank you so much. If, like you said, Michael, I know you're probably going to share this as well. If you have questions about Art Unlimited, you can go to artunlimitedusa.com and check out the services that we offer. I'm always happy to jump on a call, as is my team. I think this is a quickly evolving space, and just answer those general questions, from a third-party lens. Our marketing services directly integrate with all things AI and Alivo. So thank you again for listening. Thanks so much, Michael, for taking the time today.
Absolutely. Thank you.